Welcome back to our breakdown of Macbeth. If you haven't watched part 1 of Act 4, be sure to check it out first, as it covers the key events that drive the play toward its climax. In this final part, we'll explore the deeper meanings behind Shakespeare's use of imagery, symbolism, and motifs, setting and language in Act 4. Let's get started. Imagery, symbolism, and motifs in Act 4. Blood imagery. In Act 4, blood imagery intensifies as Macbeth becomes increasingly ruthless. The second apparition, a bloody child, tells him, "None of woman born shall harm Macbeth," misleading him into a false sense of invincibility. Later, Macbeth orders the slaughter of Macduff's wife and children, an act of unchecked cruelty. The imagery of innocent blood being spilled underscores his moral decay and the irreversible nature of his tyranny. Animal imagery. Animal symbolism is used to foreshadow danger and highlight treachery. The witches invoke liver of blaspheming Jew, toad, that under cold stone, and scale of dragon, in their cauldron, linking their magic to unnatural and malevolent forces. When Ross tells Lady Macduff that her husband has fled, she laments his absence, comparing him with a wren protecting its young from an owl, foreshadowing the impending massacre. Children. Act 4 heavily emphasizes children as symbols of lineage and rightful rule. The witches' visions show a procession of kings descended from Banquo, reinforcing Macbeth's worst fear, that he has killed Duncan in vain. Meanwhile, Macbeth's decision to murder Macduff's children reflects his desperation to eliminate all threats. The destruction of innocent life symbolizes the extent of his moral corruption. Natural order. Nature rebels against Macbeth's rule, as seen in the witches' chaotic, stormy setting and their dark magic. The third apparition warns him, "Macbeth shall never vanquished be until great Burnham Wood to high Dunsinane Hill shall come against him," suggesting nature itself will play a role in his downfall. The prophecy hints at the restoration of order through Malcolm, the rightful heir. In Act 4, these motifs reinforce Macbeth's descent into tyranny, foreshadow his downfall, and highlight the consequences of disrupting the natural order. Setting and atmosphere. Act 4 of Macbeth presents a stark contrast between different settings, each reinforcing the play's themes of power, corruption, and justice. Witches' isolated meeting place. Macbeth meets the witches in a desolate, stormy location, far removed from civilization. Here, thunder crashes as they summon dark magic, revealing haunting apparitions that manipulate Macbeth's ambition. The eerie atmosphere, filled with bubbling cauldrons and cryptic chants, underscores the supernatural forces steering Macbeth toward his downfall. Macduff's castle. Once a place of domestic peace, Macduff's castle becomes the site of senseless slaughter. Macbeth, now consumed by fear and tyranny, orders the brutal massacre of Macduff's wife and children. The destruction of this innocent household highlights Macbeth's complete moral decay and the cost of unchecked ambition. England. In sharp contrast to Scotland, England represents order and rightful rule. Here, Malcolm and Macduff plan to restore justice, gathering forces to challenge Macbeth's tyranny. England is depicted as a place of healing and virtue, where King Edward's divine right to rule stands in opposition to Macbeth's illegitimate reign. Scotland. Scotland, under Macbeth's rule, is a land in turmoil. Described as bleeding and suffering, it reflects the chaos and oppression brought by his unchecked ambition. Nature itself appears to mourn, as if rebelling against Macbeth's unnatural rule. The country's fate hinges on the impending battle between tyranny and rightful leadership. Each setting in Act 4 reinforces the contrast between chaos and order, pushing the narrative toward its inevitable conclusion. Language and dramatic techniques. Dramatic irony. Macbeth's unwavering belief in the witches' prophecies creates dramatic irony, as the audience understands the deeper, hidden meanings that he overlooks. His language in Act 4 reveals his growing arrogance and false sense of security. He speaks in imperatives and declaratives. "Then live, Macduff. What need I fear of thee?" showing his assumption that he is untouchable. Shakespeare contrasts this with the witch's cryptic, ambiguous language, which leaves room for misinterpretation. Phrases like, "None of woman born shall harm Macbeth," seem reassuring, but their hidden truth is clear to the audience by the end. Macbeth's overconfidence, conveyed through his dismissive and commanding tone, ensures that the tragic irony of his fate unfolds with devastating inevitability. Juxtaposition. Shakespeare uses stark contrast to heighten the tension in Act 4, particularly in the way Macbeth's language shifts between different settings. In the supernatural scene, he addresses the witches with hostility and desperation, calling them midnight hags, yet still depending on their words. His speech is filled with aggressive demands. "I conjure you, by that which you profess, how are you come to know it? Answer me." This contrasts sharply with the later scene in which Macduff learns of his family's murder. While Macbeth speaks in forceful verse, Macduff's grief emerges in broken, fragmented prose. He has no children. "All my pretty ones? Did you say all?" Shakespeare juxtaposes Macbeth's cold, power-hungry rhetoric with Macduff's raw emotional devastation, emphasizing the cost of Macbeth's tyranny. Foreshadowing. Throughout Act 4, Macbeth's language unknowingly foreshadows his own downfall. The apparitions offer misleading reassurances, and Macbeth's response reveals his selective hearing. He fixates on the promise that none of woman born can harm him, repeating it almost as a mantra, but dismisses the warning about Banquo's lineage. "Deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you." His refusal to engage with the full picture reveals his deep-seated fear, despite his outward bravado. Additionally, his speech grows increasingly erratic and fragmented, reflecting his unraveling mental state. The scene with the apparitions, spoken in quick, sharp lines, mirrors his paranoia, while his later dialogue about attacking Macduff's castle, "Seize upon Fife, give to the edge, O the sword," shows a descent into ruthless violence. His language foreshadows his recklessness, making his downfall seem inevitable. Act 4. Impact. Moral turning point. Macbeth loses any remaining sympathy. His brutal slaughter of innocent women and children marks him as irredeemable. His language shifts from hesitation to ruthless certainty, declaring, "The very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstlings of my hand." He no longer contemplates consequences, only immediate action. Nemesis established. Macduff emerges as Macbeth's destined opponent. His grief over the murder of his family fuels his thirst for justice. While Macbeth speaks in cold, commanding tones, Macduff's language is filled with raw pain. The emotional contrast makes their final confrontation inevitable. Prophecies set. The supernatural revelations intensify the drama. Macbeth clings to the witch's assurances, "None of woman born shall harm Macbeth," but the audience senses the deceptive nature of their words. His speech becomes overconfident, blind to the hidden dangers in their ambiguous language. Acceleration toward climax. With armies gathering, the tension builds. Macbeth's speech grows more erratic and violent, showing his increasing desperation. Act 4 propels us toward the final battle, where fate and ambition will collide in a dramatic showdown. Act 4 marks the turning point where Macbeth's downfall becomes inevitable. To see how we got here, watch our Act 3 breakdown, and for the final confrontation, check out Act 5. Do explore the videos on Macbeth's language and historical context for a deeper understanding. See you there.